Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 9. Oh, wow. Of 12 Days of Workforce Wisdom, Realities, Reflections, and Resets to Wrap 2025 and Power 2026. My return guest today is Nicole Roberts, the president of People Solutions Group and host of Amplify Your Signal podcast. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I love that we're kind of making a thing out of this, that at least once a year that we get together.
At least once a year. I do. I love it. All right, we're going to jump right in. If I know folks are interested in what you have to say. We always start with reflections, reflecting on 2025. What stood out to you as the most defining shifts in how leaders show up, especially in the ways they communicate, navigate change, and support employees through our wonderful times of uncertainty?
I think that leadership shifted from certainty because no one had the answers to presence and clarity. I think that the most effective leaders didn't pretend that they all had it figured out. Yeah. Their teams could see that they were genuinely trying, though. So I saw a lot less imposter syndrome. Nice. I saw a lot more vulnerability. I saw that communication was shifting from volume to clarity. So instead of more communication and as much communication as possible with people, kind of following the guidance of, you have to tell somebody something 7 times before they get it. You have to tell them the right thing 7 times before they get it. I mean, just pushing messaging out isn't the same as even having an understanding that people also have message fatigue, right? They have change fatigue. Like, people are tired. And so I teach change management for HCI. And one of the things that we talk about in that course is it's not even necessarily that people are opposed to what you're doing, but maybe they're just tired of change in general that has nothing to do with you, right? Yeah. I know that it's so hard to believe that everything that you're experiencing isn't directly because of you, but people have other things going on in their lives and they're just trying to get through. And so if somebody has opposed your objective or your initiative or whatever it is, like, if you take the time and actually talk to them about, like, hey, what's going on? Because it seemed like you were kind of on board with this when we first initially talked about it. And now I'm getting a lot of opposition, like, what's going on? And sometimes people just want to talk about, like, this is how I feel. And I feel like I'm going to get left behind. And, the number of people that are like, AI is coming for my job, right? Like, those are very real fears that people have. And so I think that the best leaders are the ones that are slowing down and really focusing on that consistency and that predictability and really just that humanity. And what I'm advising my clients is, show the effort, show the thought process, right? And show up with that steadiness, because people don't need louder leaders. They don't need more volume in communication from leaders, but they need clarity. They need clear leaders.
I love that. And that's a great segue to my next question. As you mentioned, you are an HR advisor and you're also a coach, and you help leaders strengthen their signal and cut through the noise. Yes. What blind spots did you see leaders and HR teams struggle with this year when it came to influence, credibility, trust building, and, as you said, clarity?
Yeah. So often people think that communication occurred just because a message was sent, because it's one of your 6,000 unread emails or your 200 unread Slack messages, right? And there's no way to confirm that the message was received and understood and interpreted correctly if that communication, didn't have the opportunity to have some two-way process there. And so leaders largely confused kind of that distribution with actually impact. And so without feedback loops, like, people fill in the gaps, right? Like, if they don't have enough information, enough context, then they'll fill in the gaps themselves. And their worst case scenario is always what wins out there. And I have something that I wrote to the side of my monitor, I'm in this mastermind group. We're reading the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. And one of the people in my mastermind group said 91.4% of things that you worry about that are bad do not happen. And look at all the time that we spend worrying about the things that, oh, this could happen and this bad thing. And we are wasting so much time and effort and resources worrying about worst case scenarios. And so teams feel left behind, right? And trust erodes and that change fatigue sets in. And so the other piece that I see as well is there's so much going on at one time that when there's a go live, teams are confusing that with an implementation. So there's not the follow-up, right? There's not the biggest and most important piece of any initiative is the after the fact and caring for people and finding out in real time how things are going. And oftentimes we'll see it's like, check the box, we went live, and now move on to the next thing. And, trust erodes immediately because did you actually care about this pain point that you professed to be addressing with this solution? Because you didn't stick around to actually find out if it worked.
Yeah, I love that. All right. Again, another great segue to the realities of what's really going on. Many organizations, they're still struggling with how to manage growth, with restructuring, and of course, their ongoing people challenges.
Yeah.
What real world leadership and HR behaviors are either helping or hurting teams the most right now?
I would say the thing that's hurting the most is action without strategy and how do you know whether or not something's going to succeed if you don't have a clear North Star, if you don't know what good looks like, right? Like anytime that I get in a conversation, and this actually happened with a potential client that I kind of self-selected out of, is they had said that the prior person that was working on this initiative failed. And I said, well, why did they fail? And they said, well, it was going on. And we seem to really have made some headway and built some traction. But then people just started to kind of revert back to what they were doing before. And I said, oh, so, one of the big things with change is you have to make sure that you embed it into your existing cadences so that it's part of muscle memory and whatever. And they were like, yeah, we did all that. And I was like, okay. And then, and I kept kind of talking through and whatever. And there was so much of, yeah, we did all of those things. And I said, okay, well, then what's the root cause that you all have identified of why this failed? And they were like, it was just the wrong person doing it. And I was like, that's very seldom the reason. And I said, and so what will good look like? Like, how will you know that it succeeded? And they're like, oh, well, it'll be a organization-wide change and everybody will be doing it. And I was like, okay, so I feel like I would also come in and I would also fail in your eyes because you're not even sure of what you want and what you need, right? And so if you don't know what good looks like, if you don't have a clear North Star, like your priorities are constantly going to shift. There's going to be continuous rework, right? And the worst thing that you want to do as well is, get in there and try to do the work and then you get frustrated, right? I mean, it's in situations with, I don't have to tell you with recruiting, I'm sure, right? You ask your clients, well, why are you looking to fill this role? Well, what's happening to the incumbent? Well, why are they failing? Do they know they're failing? And they're like, well, we're just going to do a really confidential process and, make the change. And it's like, well, why are they failing? Like, have you offered coaching? Did you make sure that there was the appropriate training and support for the person, right? Like, I can say without a doubt in my career, one of the mistakes that I can say that I have a lot of regret with is I joined an organization because of that exact reason. They said, well, the person that's in place now, like they're not getting the job done. And I think that I was too afraid of what the answer was going to be that I didn't ask the tough questions. And so that's why I was kind of proud of myself with that client then, that I was asking those tough questions, because I thought, I don't want to get in here and fail as well, simply because you don't even know what you're looking for and what good looks like, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And you kind of answered my next question, but I want to get, I'm going to be, I'm going to be me and pull something else out of you. You do work with leaders who are navigating complex transitions.
Yes.
That's one of the things in your wheelhouse. So, what's a truth that organizations need to accept about where employees are emotionally and professionally? And then what outdated leadership habits do we need to just go ahead and let go in 2026?
I think that there is a common misconception that people are disengaged. I don't think that they're
Mm,
necessarily disengaged. I think that they have a reduced capacity from change fatigue, from what is going on in the world. And so that impacts decision making, right? And risk tolerance and execution speed. And it's not about lowering standards, but our focus should be on removing friction, right? Like, how can we best support you? Because sometimes these things are going to happen anyways. And what does support look like? And the when managers think that they don't have the time, or think that they don't have the bandwidth because it's going to slow them down and it's going to impact process, what they don't understand is that when they fail to do that, then you're going to have even more challenge and even more friction and even more stress in kind of that next phase, because you might lose people, or you might have people that are um, just because people are not leaving at alarming rates because of the economy and because they're not certain that they can find another job, does not mean that they are fully dialed in to what is going on in your organization. And so you're not going to get the same level of performance and productivity out of people when they don't understand, when they don't feel like they even have the confidence in the direction that you're going, to
yeah.
be able to even answer questions if somebody asks them, right? I mean, we've all learned as we went through our careers, like, we always look to our leaders, right? In times of change, people look to their leadership. And so if we are not taking the time to make sure that all the questions are answered, and even if this isn't optional, what are we doing to at least support people as we go through it, then we're going to have, a pile of issues as we try to go through the next phases.
All right. Another great segue to resets. So we're wrapping 2025. What's a reset that leaders and HR teams need to make to communicate more clearly, to reduce friction, and create environments where employees feel seen, where they feel supported and anchored through that change?
I think that organizations do a disservice to their people when they make the decision for them that they don't want to understand the why behind decisions, and that,
Mm,
oh, that's too high level, right? They don't need to understand the alignment. They don't need to understand the strategy. They just need to focus on their day to day. Leaders need to do a reset on how they communicate, on how they prioritize, on how they reinforce change, and focus on well executed initiatives rather than volume of initiatives, right?
okay.
And clearer narratives, and make sure that people understand that even if they may not have true decision making, that the organization still wants to know how this impacts you and how you can be supported, and maybe not be tone deaf when it comes to usual cadences in the organization. So I'll give a great example. I had a um, coaching client, HR coaching client, and bless their heart, they had a beautiful initiative designed.
Mm,
And their rollout, because of delays with the vendor and all of those things, was going to be at the busiest time in the organization because of the seasonality of their business. And I said, tell me more about this, and what is your plan, and what would be the worst thing that would happen if you either delayed it or, in some way to not add something else on to a time when people are working probably 60 hours a week.
Ooh.
And they said, oh, well, but I told them, right, that I was going to do this and that this was going to be the next phase kind of in this rollout. And I said, if you, let's say it was open enrollment, or let's say it was some kind of big, performance intensive process. I said, if you were going through a process like that and you got some initiative dropped on you and you were expected to execute it, perfectly, how would you feel in that moment?
Mm.
And she said, I would feel like they had no idea what I was doing and no regard for whether or not I actually had the bandwidth to do it to the best of my ability. And I said, well, then why do you not think that they would think that? I said, what would be the benefit of showing your cultural awareness, your business savvy, your business acumen, right? Of this is the priority of the business. This is our busy time. And I acknowledge that. And so I know that you guys thought that this was going to be the next phase, but I really think that in order for this to be more impactful, we're going to push it out 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it is, right? Like obviously not something that would be related to any hard, fast deadlines.
Yeah.
But the effectiveness and the success of that initiative could be exponentially better if you waited to a time when people actually could fully appreciate it and could fully do their part and not feel like they're adding just one more thing and it's like a check the box and there was no intentionality with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like when sometimes we don't like to do this, but sometimes you just like have to get something done, right? And it's like, oh, it was good enough. Yeah, but what if you could change that and not make it just good enough?
Yeah, that's great advice. And I'm going to pull another piece of year-end advice from you. So as we power into 2026, one piece of year-end advice or year-end wisdom, I'll say, you want leaders and HR professionals to carry forward so they can amplify their signal and guide their teams with more clarity, courage, and intention.
When your actions and communication and leadership behavior are aligned, you build trust, you become more credible. People believe that you really do care about what they're doing and not just about pushing your own initiatives. And so let's all try to be kinder and clearer and focus on what's truly important with people and with the business.
That's excellent. So I am so excited. I've been sitting here trying not to interrupt you and stuff, but I'm like loving your background. You look like a Hallmark movie.
Get all my stuff.
No, like you're like fully like your sweater, like the sweater matching the cards. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, she's doing so much. This
The
is
whole
like
thing. I'm like a Pinterest board.
you absolutely a Pinterest board. You're the small town person that went back from the big city.
I feel like that. Yeah.
And they're like trying to do a Zoom call while everyone is making what's that stuff called? Peppermint bark.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We make when you take like the pretzels and the M&Ms and the white chocolate drizzle over it, we make that and break it up into bark. It's really
okay. Good. So I'm going to need another one because that might not be your favorite one, but what's your favorite holiday tradition?
When I was a kid, it was driving around and looking at Christmas lights on Christmas Eve. And it's so funny because I never paid attention to the fact that, I mean, my parents got divorced when I was really young, but when they were still married, one of them for some reason couldn't drive around. And it never even like, it impacted my brain. But when we got home, Santa had always been there while we were gone.
Oh,
Right?
gotcha.
And the reason we did that was because we always had our Christmas on Christmas Eve, after church, after driving around and looking at the lights. And it was because my mom is the oldest of 6. And so we were always straight driving an hour to go to my grandma's house on Christmas Day. So in order to not have craziness and hysteria on Christmas Day morning, we always did our Christmas on Christmas Eve. I never once questioned why that happened, and that was so magical, right? And they didn't care if we stayed up till midnight playing with our stuff. And also, nobody's waking them up at the crack of dawn on Christmas Day because we'd already had it Christmas Eve. So they're very smart.
Yeah,
and we still do Christmas Eve on my mom's side.
Okay.
We still celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve on my mom's side, even to this day. And so I'm looking forward to having my family at my house, and I love to cook. So that's kind of my new favorite tradition is I just love to cook. I mean, I'll cook the whole day from scratch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, hors d'oeuvres, whatever. And I just love doing it. So it's kind of my way to love on people is with food.
All right. I love that. I'm not going to ask you if you make resolutions because you're going to tell me no. So I'm not like enough. Like it's episode 9. I've gotten 8.
Everybody says no.
Yeah, like enough. Like I'm not doing it. So I've been asking another question. So I am going to ask you. A lot of people said they have a theme or a word. So I'm going to ask you that if that's what you do for the new year, or if you do anything at all. And then I love music, so I want to know like what's your favorite holiday song?
Favorite holiday song is "Oh Holy Night." I don't care who sings it. It's always the most beautiful.
Mariah is the only answer.
Is the best.
Yes.
I think I was in like 7th grade, 8th grade. I don't know when that album came out, and I about broke that CD. I played it so many times. And I've been singing since I was like 4 years old. So of course everybody thinks they sound like Mariah, like singing.
I absolutely do, first of all.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually on a Zoom call not that long ago, and somehow I was just there by myself, but all of the meeting note takers, which were also recording, were there. And so I just started singing all by myself. I was like, well, you're going to have entertainment since you didn't show up for the meeting.
There you go. The note takers do show up first.
Yes, they do.
I kick them out. No, I don't want to be surveilled. Okay. So do you have a theme or a word?
And I think because a large part of it is, my cancer survivorship and all of that, if I don't wait to start things. So like the mastermind group that I joined, I mean, we're doing all of these intentional things and accountable to one another. And I don't wait for like when people are like, I'm going to start a diet Monday. I'm like, well, what? Or, the first day of the week. Well, why wait? I think that because I got another chance at life, and because I truly look at every day as a gift, that I don't plan too far into the future. And I don't look at that as, I'll do that someday. Like someday is today. I mean, I remember when I was going through my treatment and I took some money out of my 401k, and somebody was like, oh, why would you do that? And I said, because I lost my job and cancer is expensive, right? And they're like, oh, but you should never touch your retirement. And I was like, what if I
told you that?
Retirement? You know what I mean? I was like, what kind of I hear you. And that's very sweet advice. But also, what if I don't live to retirement? Then I'm just going to be like, oh, well, my beneficiaries got my 401k. Like, I think that I would rather not have debt that goes to my beneficiaries, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
no, I love it.
I used to be a person that was very much like, I'm a planner and I want things to look forward to and all of that. And I still do. I mean, like we do, Emma and I my daughter do like countdowns and things like that. Like I still
Mhm.
have that, but that shifted dramatically.
Understood.
Yeah, that
Have you
shifted.
guys written any new songs lately on the AI app you showed me?
I just have the one that is the intro outro music to the podcast, but
Okay.
that's a good thought though. Maybe I'll see if I can make like some kind of little holiday song.
There
But
you go.
I
I
love that
love it.
app. It's so fun.
I love it. I want to thank you again for being here and for your transparency. You know, I follow you all year long. I don't just reach out on when I need you to come in and talk to folks. But you have been consistent and transparent about your journey with your recovery from your cancer diagnosis. And actually, the first time that you were on a show with me, you had just found out about your cancer, and I was like, "What
Like
do we
an hour
do?"
before.
And
Yeah.
you were like, "No, we're going to do this," and I'm like, "What?" Like, so I have been like, when I need it, like pulling from your strength sometimes because I'm like, I don't know how she does. Like, I don't know how she does it, but you keep me encouraged. You keep me excited, and you keep me reminded that, like you said, and Kate said on the show as well, because she doesn't
I
do
love
resolution. But
it.
any day could be the first day.
Yes.
Any day could be the first day.
Yep.
So we're gonna ban resolutions. We're going to ban resolutions. Just do it.
Yeah.
That is not a plug to that one company, by the way. All right, we've got episode 10, 11, and 12 left, but there are some bonus episodes as well, because I have amazing supporters and friends who want to come and talk to folks about what's going on in the workforce. So please join us tomorrow for episode 10, 12 days of workforce wisdom, reflections, realities, and resets to wrap 2025 and power 2026. And everyone have a happy holiday, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.